If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims.
Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Whitney Kobrin. Hi, Whitney.
Hi, Carissa. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. It's great to connect with you. I can't wait to learn more about dating and relationships. Let me share a little bit about Whitney. She is a renowned dating and relationship expert who has helped hundreds of single, divorced, and widowed women find the love they desire. Whitney has been featured on numerous summits, podcasts, Amazon TV, Roku, Ayaya University, and more, spreading her message that modern dating is frustrating, but finding love is still worth it. Yay! Her programs offer a holistic model that incorporates your whole self, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. In addition to teaching practical dating skills for the modern world, she also guides women through the deep inner work necessary to date confidently, heal old patterns, and attract the high caliber love they desire and deserve. Welcome, Whitney.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And I was just curious, do you feel that there is more than one person out there, or is there one soulmate that we're meant to be with?
Oh, that's such a great question. I believe that soulmates are found when you become really in touch with your own soul. And when you understand your soul and can open up to somebody on that deep of a level, it creates a soul connection. That's my belief. I don't believe that there's one special person out there among the 7 billion that we have to find. I think there are multiple potential people, and it's really about cultivating and creating that depth of relationship and that level of intimacy.
Yeah. And when you said about creating that depth and level, do you mean that depth within yourself so that your soul can connect to that person if you happen to meet them?
I think it's both. I think that we need to do that work internally, but there is also effort that needs to be put into the relationship, right? It's not that we meet someone and fall in love and, oh my gosh, I found it and that's it and it's done and we just live happily ever after, right? We all know that the happily ever after thing is a myth. I mean, we can live happily for the rest of our days, but if we ignore it and go on autopilot, it's not going to work. We need to be conscious. And that's one of the reasons that I was attracted to your podcast, Carissa, is because you talk about these things and you talk about consciousness, whether it's in our work lives, our business, our friendships, or our relationships and partnerships. It really takes that self-awareness and consciousness from moment to moment to be able to choose how we want to live and how we want to proceed.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. And thank you for saying that. I love that you found that about my podcast and wanted to be on my show. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
And what has been your own journey with love?
Oh boy.
How much time do we have? No.
Yeah, exactly. Some people might look at me and think, well, she's blonde and she's cute and it must have been really easy for her. And it was not. For the first several years of dating in my teenage years, my 20s, up until I found a coach and therapist that started to turn my life around, I feel like all my instincts were wrong. I feel
Mm.
like these instincts of, well, this is a good guy, like I should attach to him, were wrong. Telling people very directly how I feel about them and all the potential that I see for us, would just scare people away.
I remember in high school, I liked this guy and I saw the scavenger hunt in Cosmopolitan. I don't know why I was reading Cosmo, but in high school. But anyway, but it was like so direct. And at the end, it was like this note like, call me, I like you. I was like total the pursuer and just upfront. But anyway, that's my
Yeah.
own journey.
Yeah.
But I know what
And
you mean because sharing too much too soon can scare people away.
yes. And I have these 13 different damaging dating patterns. So one of them is crumbs, accepting crumbs from somebody. And I definitely did that. Another pattern that I was guilty of was the flame out. So you get so excited in the beginning and oh my gosh, I finally found somebody worth dating and somebody interesting. And you go all in. And as soon as it starts, it fizzles out and it's done.
Yeah.
Um,
So like what
there's
is that? Can we go into that more? Is that like high expectation for something big and then it's just like, oh, and then it just doesn't live up to that?
It often is, but it's often also that it just takes time to get to know people.
Mm.
Think about how long you've known yourself and how long it took you to get to really know yourself, to
Mm-hmm.
really
It's an
tolerate. I
ongoing.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, so many of us don't even have a good relationship with ourself. When we make a mistake, we judge, criticize, berate ourselves, we're mean, and we need to take our time getting to know a partner before we go all in with them. We need to know. I mean, everybody probably has an ex that when you look back at them and that relationship, you're like, what was I thinking? Because you just didn't know them fully enough. And so that's what happens with the flame out is you
Okay.
think you know someone. Wow, he checks off all my boxes. He's 6'2" and he's this and he has money and wow, he must be perfect. And let's just face it, nobody's perfect. So
Nobody is. That's
you
true.
want to wait until you can navigate some conflict together, have a disagreement that you work through. I mean, that's what really helps you get to know somebody. And there's a lot of opportunity between when you first meet someone and when you're in a committed relationship. You can just date, you can just go out and meet and talk and get to know people. And there's so much pressure nowadays. It's like, I see people going online using the dating apps. They make a plan, the person doesn't follow up with them, and they're like mad. Oh my gosh, we have our date tomorrow and this person hasn't talked to me and I'm just going to unmatch and like, what are you mad at? That this person has a life, that they're busy? Like, okay, if they never respond, then that's a problem. But you let it go and you move on and you find someone else. But there's so much expectation and
Yeah.
pressure going on right now that is counterproductive in our love life.
And maybe people, well, not having the patience of like what you're saying, taking the time to get to know someone, like I want it now, or if they check some of the boxes, okay, we're going to be exclusive instead of like what you were saying, just being open, getting to know them. And so you think it's okay maybe to date around until you figure that out?
Yes, yes. I think it's really important. So, I spent 13 years working in recruiting and talent acquisition. And part of my story of how I got into this love life coaching is that I left my recruiting job to become a matchmaker because I thought it's very similar to recruiting, but also has
Mm.
this psychology and love element to it. If I have a job opening, I'm not just going to go to the local place and just see who's available and like talk to people and say, hey, is there a marketing associate here? Can I find a marketing associate? So online dating has helped us because we can kind of craft a description of what we're looking for and who we are and what type of relationship we want. And it really helps us. And yet it also has hurt us because it's created this mentality of everything should be quick and easy, and I can just place an order and it will be on my doorstep in 2 days. And it's also made us treat people less like human beings and more like a product or a number. And I see many times couples that get together, I've heard this repeatedly, that they actually saw each other's online dating profiles and didn't swipe on each other and wouldn't have swiped on each other.
Oh,
And yet they end
how
up
did they
meeting in
end up?
some other way.
Oh, they did. How funny.
So the whole system, and this is why I do what I do, which is, the combination of the practical skills and the inner work, because we need to know how this works. We need to know how to cast a wide net and filter through all the potential people and find who we want to go on dates with. And by the way, you cannot hire someone off a resume alone. You cannot know if this is your person from their profile alone. You got to meet someone. You've got to feel their energy, smell their pheromones, see their body language. Like there's so much missing from the types of interactions that most people are having today.
Yeah. It's interesting with online dating. It's sometimes people are just looking to hook up, or they'll want to jump into a relationship right away as soon as they meet you, and it just feels weird. So there's like all these different, obviously, we're humans, we have all these different, but I just found them to be hyper focused online, like the types of people that were available to date and everything. I'd love to tie this back to your own story and your journey to love and why you're so passionate about it, helping
Yeah.
others.
So I was starting to talk about there's these 13 different damaging dating
Yes.
patterns. And so I leaned on the anxious attachment style direction. I was more needy, always had somebody on the back burner or somebody that I was talking to, even if it wasn't a relationship. And a lot of women are like that. A lot
Yeah.
are on the opposite end of the spectrum too, that are more avoidant and more afraid of relationships and too picky. So I find that those two kind of extremes are most common. But I was the anxious attachment. I always had somebody around. And I remember people telling me that, that maybe there was something about my self-love or my self-worth, but I always brushed it off. I never
Yeah.
really thought that that was at the root of it. And now, of course, as I'm in my 40s now and have learned and grown so much, I can see what they meant by that and what role that plays, your own worth and value and who you think you deserve and who you decide to spend your time around and all of that. So I struggled in relationships. I got pregnant at 24 and had my son, who's now 17 and awesome.
Okay.
But I
What a
struggled
gift.
but I struggled in my relationship with his father. We were fighting all the time.
So you weren't
And
married. You were just
no,
had the baby, and yeah.
yeah, we stayed together until my son was 1 or 2.
Okay.
And it was really hard. It was a struggle. It was not a healthy relationship, totally
Yeah.
toxic. I tried everything to keep us together because for the sake
Of the
of my
baby.
son and my
Yeah.
family, but otherwise I wouldn't have lasted a few months with him.
Yes.
So after I got out of that relationship, I jumped into one that was really sweet, really kind. I look back at
Like the
that
opposite.
partner. Yes, total rebound opposite from the mean, jerky, controlling, demanding guy to the sad, sweet puppy that was just always down for whatever I needed and wanted. But of course, that didn't last either because it wasn't what I really wanted. So
Yeah, a little too
then,
much.
yeah. So then I remember I saw this photo in a photo album of a guy that I had met in college. I went on a few dates with him. I totally blew it. I got really drunk. Another big mistake in dating. I've learned
Sounds
now,
like me
don't.
in college. Yeah.
Yes. And so I remember having this, it felt like an epiphany at the time, maybe an epiphanot, but I thought, wow, this guy was quality. He was attractive. He was amazing. Like, I
Yeah.
want to go for it all. I want to really find a great guy. And again, my mindset was not, I want to create a great relationship. It was, I
Yeah.
want to find a great guy.
Right.
And
Not
so,
taking that personal responsibility yet, thinking it's outside of you.
yeah. So I did find a great guy that checked off all the boxes. I was enamored. I was really loving on him, and we had a lot in common. And
That's not that guy from college, though, right?
no,
No. It's just that
no.
image of him made you want that. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me say, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to go after something that I really want. And that put me in this masculine chasing mode that I now know, as women, we want to feel loved and cherished and cared for. And when a guy's not putting the effort in, it just doesn't feel right. It just
Yeah.
doesn't sit right.
hmm
Of course, for a woman that has a primarily feminine essence, which I'm not going to say that we all do, right? There's
Right.
many different variations, but
Or it
most
could
of
be buried, that feminine essence.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so I just had this like trail of ups and downs and lessons, and I really wanted to make it work. I mean, I always craved that love and affection and attention, and having my son, it made me want it even more because I wanted to have a family unit and to have
Mhm.
stability. And I tried dating, in it was just not working. And I remember this fateful day on a random Google search, I came across this coach named Rory Ray who teaches about relationships and communication and masculine and feminine energy. And it blew my mind. And it was so long ago that I was actually getting CDs delivered to my house that had the interviews on them. So this was before podcasts or
Yes.
even online courses or anything. But I learned so much from her. And that's when I attracted my husband, my late husband. He passed away in 2017.
Mm.
So I finally found the love that I was looking for, went through a lot of healing, learned how to be in relationship, and then I lost it.
Mm. And how did he die?
He passed away in his sleep 2 days after having a back surgery. So
Oh, so very surprising.
very surprising. Um, Oddly enough, he had had a dream as a kid that he was going to die at 37, and then he did. So I do tarot readings also, and I've met several psychics and mediums. And my late husband, Jason, comes and
Comes in for the
he
reading,
does.
right?
He comes in and he communicates with them. And I mean, I've had some freaky pinpoint words like Flemish that were like inside jokes that he and I had that these mediums, one in particular picked up on. And so I do believe that he's still around me and I still will love him forever. And he's actually kind of become a part of me. Like I get the name Kobrin from my late husband, and I just grew so much as a person being with him. And I can honestly say that our relationship was not perfect,
Yeah.
that we still had some bad communication problems and things that, had we had the chance, I wish that we could have fixed, but that wasn't in the cards. But after losing my husband, everything just completely changed for me. So within a few years, I was in a new state, in a new house, with a new partner, new school for my son, new business, new industry, new friend group, new
Mm.
everything. And
Had you
it's
moved cities?
I did. I moved
Oh,
about a year or two after my husband passed.
oh, okay.
I didn't think I was going to. When it first
Mhm.
happened, I said, I'm going to be in this house for the next 10 years. I'm never getting married again. Like, I had all
Oh,
these
yeah.
ideas, but life moves on. And it kind of felt like a video game where if you don't keep up, you just, you die. And it was like the world kept moving and I just wanted it to sit still. But when it did come around to time to date again, that was one area that I felt confident. I knew
Yeah.
how to do it finally. And I
Yeah.
had been helping other friends for years. I mean, it's not a coincidence that I got into doing what I do. I went through the hard struggles to learn what I've learned. And I've also helped others. And then I went through the training and all of that. So now I've been doing this for about 6 years. And yeah, that's my
That's
journey.
amazing. And how old was your son at that time when your
He was
husband?
10.
Oh, he was 10. Okay. And how did it affect him? Was he really attached to him?
Yeah, it was awful. He called him dad,
Yeah.
voluntarily, even though he was stepdad. And he was right there. It happened in our living room on the couch, and my son
Mm.
was right there and like heard him take his last breath, and it was traumatic and just crazy. I mean, it feels like a movie when it happens to you. It feels very surreal. I felt sort of like, how am I supposed to act? How's my face supposed to look? Like, what am I supposed to be feeling? It was almost this like denial, like this isn't happening. And obviously
Wow.
that is the first stage of grief is denial. Like I remember speaking at his funeral and people were commenting about how eloquent and like good I presented, and it was like, yeah, because I'm just like shut off. Like I can't tap into the real feelings right now or else I'll just lose it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. And so over this time when you're helping your friends like date and giving them guidance, did you start to get some clues that that was going to be your purpose and what was next for you?
Yeah, so I studied psychology in school and got my bachelor's, but right before I was about to become a psychologist, I just changed my mind. Something in me just said that I didn't have the life experience to be guiding others and that you can't change other people. They can only change themselves, which I still believe, but I'm
Yeah.
so happy to find the people that are willing and ready to make changes in their life.
Yes. When they find you, yeah, they better be ready. Yeah, that's interesting. My dad had that same experience with psychology, but he did get a degree in it, but then didn't pursue it for the same
Yeah.
reasons.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
always wanted to be a counselor. Like that was
Okay.
just, I wanted to be a counseling therapist. And so after my husband passed and I just lost my passion for being at work, I remember going and crying in my car and just being like, why am I here? I don't want to be here anymore. And so I left and became a matchmaker, which was this blend of the psychology that I loved and the matchmaking I had done. And I have couples that are married and but I had some people that I could set them up on the dates, but there was more going on under the surface. And that's when I got really curious and did my coaching certification and started coaching my matchmaking clients. And I matched myself during that time too. So I was very
Were you like going
selective.
looking at my profiles and like, okay. Oh,
Well,
that's
I was recruiting for the matchmaking company and all my clients
okay.
were female except one. I had one male client in the couple of years that I was there. But I was mostly just looking for men for my female clients. And I
Wow.
would tell them, because sometimes they would say, oh, well, are you single? And I would just tell them, I'm recently widowed and I'm not dating. And they
Yeah.
would back off real quick because that's kind of a surprising answer, I think, for most people.
Yeah, because people
So
don't know how to handle that.
Yeah, but I had an opportunity to really see the lay of the land and really see who's out there, get to know different personality types. I mean, it really was a great way for me to cast a wide net and trust my heart and my instinct. Because when I came across Tim, my current partner, we've been together for 5.5 years, and it's the best relationship I've ever been in, the healthiest. He's supportive, amazing. We But when I came across him online, he was in my matchmaking database. And I remember the first thing I saw was what he's looking for in a woman. And it just like jumped out at me. I was like, wow, that sounds like a friend describing me. Like, who is this guy? And then I saw that we both had one kid who was 11 years old at the time, and just a
Oh,
lot of different synchronicities.
yeah.
And it took
That's
us a
really a sign, I think, from the universe, God, that the 11, the sun that's 11. I think that's like would stand out for me.
Yeah, it definitely was like, it was very different than anybody else that I had considered dating or even not considered. Like all of a sudden it was like this guy. I was like, really? He's 11 years older than me. I don't know about that, but it just worked out and I'm so glad it did.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what was your approach? Do you reach out to him and said, would you like to get set up with one of my clients?
No, he actually had a different matchmaker who was working with him. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, I have a match for him. And the company promoted that. They're like, if you're single, then go for it. Everybody
Oh, that's
deserves love.
awesome.
There's
Yeah.
no, it wasn't a
Okay.
conflict in any
Yeah.
way. Although I could see all the notes from all the dates he'd been on and all that, which was kind of funny.
Slight conflict, but that's okay. I'm sure he let it slide once he met
Yeah.
you.
I mean, it took us about 2.5 months before we were in a relationship. Like we went on a few dates and I was pretty sure, but I also let go of all the expectations.
Hmm.
Like I remember getting really stressed and worried, like, did I blow it? Is this going to happen? And I just stopped myself and
Oh,
said,
good for you.
I am going to let go of all the expectations, right? That is huge in dating. We have to stay present. I could not be in the future. Like, wow, our kids are going to be this and we're going to be that and it's going to be so amazing. Like, I had to stay present and I had to recognize that I don't know everything. I'm not orchestrating everything. Maybe if this doesn't work out, maybe I'm dodging a bullet. Maybe this is a gift in disguise. Maybe it's a stepping stone towards something else. Like I
That's
really
great.
let go and trusted. And because I did that, it really helped the relationship move forward. Because if I had done that thing where it's like, oh my gosh, look at our potential, we're going to be so great and all in the future and all of that, then I probably would have pushed him away.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That can be scary. That can be scary, just like putting that out there.
Yeah.
And but so amazing. Well, you've had this wonderful success. Would you mind sharing a success story from one of your clients? I'm sure you have many, but just
Oh,
one that
yeah.
stands out. Yeah.
I have so many. It's hard to choose one, but
Okay. Well, I
um,
mean, you can
I,
share a couple if you like.
well, a few stand out to me. On Valentine's Day this year, I got a call from my client Maya that she was engaged. And when I first started working with her, she was only 24.
Oh,
So I work with a lot
good
of
for
women,
her
right?
that she's starting out. Oh my God, you have to get all these millennials early.
Yeah, and most of the people I work with are probably in their 30s and 40s
Okay,
because that's when you get serious about finding a
that's true.
relationship. But she was feeling really clueless. She didn't understand men. She hadn't been around a lot of them. They always made her nervous. And so we worked together. And, part of I think I mentioned or you mentioned in the intro that what I do is mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual or
Hmm.
energetic. So there's a real transformation and growth that happens through the program. So she came out of it with so much more joy and attracting better people.
Mm.
And she dated a lot And it took her a few years. So it took her a couple of years of dating and trying things out and really sticking to what she knew she deserved. And we would stay in touch, and she would get frustrated sometimes, but then we would reconnect, and I would, we'd get through it. And she's like, all right, I know, I understand, I'm doing all the things right. And she did. She met her person. I think it was probably about 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And she met him, and she's like, holy cow, I've never met a more self-aware, conscious, intentional, awesome masculine man. And he just knocked her off her feet, and she was swooning, and he was also. And so now they're engaged, and they're going to be married soon, and they've invited me to the wedding, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, thanks so much for sharing that. I love that story. Well, since you were talking about the process, how does energy work help us date better and create healthier relationships?
So first, it's about emotional regulation and nervous system regulation. So we get bumped into our fight or flight or freeze, and we get out of character, and we freak out, we get anxious, or we get angry, or, that's a big part of it, is learning to regulate yourself. And we do this also through self-compassion exercises and self-soothing, because it's really important to come back to a level-headed state of thinking. It's also important to connect with your intuition. And we do this through the energy work and through embodiment practices, where we just get out of our head. Most of us today are just walking around like a head on a stick, where we're always in our head. We're always, mindset is important, and your thoughts are important, but it's not everything. You think about birds, they have this teeny tiny little bird brain, and yet their GPS system allows them to travel continents away and go right back to their home base. Like, there is an innate intelligence in our bodies that this modern world is often denying. And it leaves us feeling really unsure. There's all this uncertainty of, oh my God, I don't know. What is right? Is he the one? Is he not the one? I made a list of pros and cons and it's like,
what if there's
up.
a better one around the corner? I get that sometimes. Yeah.
Yep. Grass is greener pattern. So sometimes we just have to silence ourselves and learn to tune into the inner wisdom, the inner voice, the intuition. How do you feel around this person? Like, okay, great. He has a good job, and he's tall, and he's whatever you're looking for, but how does he make you feel when you're with him? We need to learn to tune into that. And then, of course, there's the level of attunement necessary in relationships. And if you've ever heard of the Gottman Institute, they did decades. So they followed tons of couples for decades doing psychological research and finding out what are the patterns that lead to divorce and what are the patterns that lead to healthy relationships.
Oh, cool.
And so they discovered that you need 5 positive interactions to every 1 negative interaction when you're dealing with conflict. So this is a huge shift from what most people are doing, right? It's like, as soon as you get into conflict, it's like, you're doing this wrong. Why do you do this? Let me take over. It's like all these negative things, when it should be, I appreciate you. I love you. Thanks for giving that a try. Let me take a look. So I've learned a lot from them.
That's amazing. So how do you start with a client? Is this the groundwork? Do you start with the energy work? Or do you start with the tactics, or do you tie it all together? And how long do you recommend people work with you?
So I have a few different ways that people can work with me, but my primary program is 3 months. So it's 12 weeks.
That sounds good. Yeah.
And it starts out with know and love yourself. We get to know who you are deep down, your coping mechanisms, survival mechanisms, learning to love yourself and practice compassion. And then the second stage is to be powerful and feminine. So this is where we tap into the voice. speaking up for yourself, communicating, while also understanding your own internal balance between your masculine and feminine and how that works in relationships. And then the third phase is to release the unwanted past. This is where we break through the old beliefs, the old fears, whatever is not serving you, old agreements. There's many different things. And then the fourth stage is the dating. So I actually do
Wonderful.
the inner
Okay,
work
great.
first,
Yeah.
and then we learn the practical skills and get them out there. And all of this is done within a community. So whether they're meeting with me one-on-one or in my group, it's all part of this loving, embracing community of women that are all kind of on this journey of self-love and finding fulfilling love.
That's so beautiful. And I know we touched on online dating previously. Do you think it works? And how can we make it work better for us?
1 in 3 marriages today starts from an online introduction.
Okay. Well, there you
So
go. Yes, it's working.
it
What if we
does
don't want to
work.
use the apps?
Um, you don't have to. So
Yeah.
online dating is not dating. Online dating is simply a way to meet people that you could potentially date.
Yeah.
It really
Just
opens,
reframing it. Yeah.
yeah. And it is like looking for a needle in a haystack. So imagine if you just walked down to your local 7-Eleven and looked around at the men there. You're probably not going to find the man of your dreams just shopping for beer at the convenience store, right? And so online dating has become so prevalent that everybody's on there. And so it's even harder to sift through. And that's one of the challenges that makes people quit, is that they get overwhelmed. So I have a lot of tips and ways to craft your profile, which sites to avoid that are going to waste your time.
That's amazing. That's so valuable. That's
Yeah,
priceless.
so when I do this main program with people and we do the inner work and really get clear on the relationship that they want and knowing themselves, the dating part is so much more fun. Like they're actually attracting better people and having better experiences and going deeper in their conversations. And, I think every date is an opportunity to learn something, to practice your communication, practice being your most authentic self, have fun. It doesn't have to be miserable. And the more that people can enjoy it and have fun, like that's what I'm about.
That's amazing. Well, can you share about your app, Love Coach in My Pocket?
Oh, yes, thank you. So this is fairly new, but I'm so excited about it. It's available on Apple and Android, and this is where I have my courses. So there are video programs and embodiment practices to follow and women's circles. So it's it's been, my coaching is often one-on-one or direct to a small group. But this app gives me the opportunity to reach so many more people who might not be ready or have the finances to hire a coach. It's like, I don't want to hire a coach, I just want to learn. And there's so much information out there today. You go on YouTube and it's just endless. So instead of going down the rabbit hole of YouTube and ending up on flat earthers or something crazy, you can go into the app and look at my content, and it's all going to be very specific and curated, and you can poke around and find what speaks to you and where you want to start. But there's a lot of content in there, and also a community. So you can ask me questions, you can ask each other questions. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. And it's available now.
Yep. So my website is just my name,
Okay.
whitneykobrin.com. So you could
Okay.
find the app, you can find micro programs, you can really find anything that you need from the website,
Well,
whitneykobrin.com.
yeah. And I'll put it in the show notes too. So, what is Zen success in dating for you?
I think when I just said about dating should be fun and enjoyable, that is the success. I think too many people, when they're out dating, it's like the only way that this date is successful is if I meet my future forever partner. And let's face it, most dates are not going to be that. So if every date that's not that is a disappointment, you're going to get burnt out pretty quickly. So having that inner calm and peace to put yourself out there and enjoy things, have strong boundaries to block that negative energy. And, that I think is really what Zen success is in dating. And it does lead to finding that conscious partner as well.
Well, it's been such a pleasure connecting with you today, Whitney. And like I said, I'll put your website in the show notes. So make sure to visit her website to learn more. And thanks for joining me on the Zen Success Show, Whitney.
Thank you so much, Carissa.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey. And join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.